Hello, welcome to Flower Joos. My name's Joos and today we're going to make a fun little arrangement, and my inspiration for this was really this container, which is like a pottery pebble but with holes in it, and these were quite popular. You get a range of different shapes and colours, they're quite artistic, and I actually found this in a charity shop. But this is my main inspiration, which is really this packing strapping, which I think is quite interesting. Because I've got a little bit of this blue, I thought it might be quite interesting to make an arrangement with this combination. So sometimes it's not about how many flowers you have, it's more about the combination of interesting materials that can be quite fun. So we're going to add a little bit of water to our vase. We need to have water for our flowers. And now we can just have a little play with this. So this is the type of thing, I'm like a magpie, I never like to throw anything away. And this has been in a box for a long time. And I thought this might be quite interesting. So hopefully I won't cut myself. And if you're going to make something like this, then really it is just a case of having a play, because until you actually do that process, you don't know where you're going to end up. So I was thinking maybe more loopy. I think making the base just kind of one loop is probably better. If I try and go through here a lot of times, it's just going to get very confusing and we're not going to see the beautiful container. So actually creating more like this is going to be interesting. And luckily this splits really well, which I didn't know. But when you make something that's fun, it really is fun to do it. If it is fun, and you'll probably find that it's actually fun to make as well. So I'm being a little bit conscious of where our ends are going. So depends where you're going to put this. I quite like this view here. So I would say this is the front. Because this is going back, we're getting depth, but we're also coming forward. I can just tidy that up and make it a little bit more consistent. And the same with here. Just make them all consistent. Now, I did say we were going to put a little bit of blue in it as well. I think that would be quite fun. So let's have a look. Don't throw away anything, because things like this, they cost you nothing, and at some point you might just decide to use it and find that it's interesting. So I do talk a lot about making a framework for your flowers, or creating the background for your flowers. And this is really doing that here. And I think that is, to me, too high up, so we'll come down. This is creating a framework with something that is not flower material, but when you see things out of context, they can be quite fun. Right, now I think I'm going to make this shorter. we now have this line going here. A little bit shorter with the packing. It's quite fun. So this is quite interesting. So now all we need to do is have a little think about where we're going to put the flowers. And I think what's quite nice about this is we can really play with the space. See, that would be quite nice there. But someone actually gave me these iris bulbs for the garden, and I threw them in basically, and they've come up and they're so cute. Now I'm going to go a little bit shorter with this. And that is that. I'm not going to use this. I think this is just going to confuse the issue. I really like the fact that there's clean lines. So we've got the clean lines of the strapping, we've got the clean edges of the iris. This isn't going to last for ages, but it'd be so easy just to swap out the flowers and pop in something else. So we've got a lot of enclosed space, a lot of movement. So when we talk about rhythm in an arrangement, then this is the type of thing that takes your eye round and creates rhythm. So an interesting, fun little arrangement, and I hope I've showed you that it doesn't have to be complicated, but it is worth keeping an eye out for funny little containers that you can put to an interesting use. So I could just as easily have put those iris in there like it was a bud vase, but by creating this framework, we've made it much more interesting, much more modern, and a little bit fun. Now, we've got new videos regularly. Normally they're every week, but it just depends what we've got on. So we've got new videos coming up. We'd love you to join us for our next one, but until then, if you're interested in a little bit more inspiration, then have a look in the video description and we'll post a link to one of our other videos. Now, if you're also interested in things like Kensins or pin holders, we also have a link in the description to a company called Wazakura, and you'll get 10% off if you use our link for your first order. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.